and welcome to Hard Copy from our Channels television studios in Abuja. I'm Kayla Magwa. Multiple killings in Plateau State over the years. Killings in Yelwata village and other parts of Benue State. The recent attack in Raba local government area of Sokoto State. A farmer was killed just days ago in Bogoro local government area of Bauchi State. This after a similar incident in Darazo, also in Bauchi, in Gwagwalada, here in the nation's capital, after a farmer was killed by a herder. Reprisals at the Fulani Gufata settlement led to 31 houses being burnt and several people injured. Even in Rivers State, herders complained that criminals and cattle rustlers operating in the south have turned both herders and farmers against each other. It's been an intense year. The governors of Plateau and Benue State say these age-old conflicts are now being exploited by criminals to perpetrate other crimes, including genocides. So how do we stop this? Can modern farming methods help? Do we need to talk about the insistence on open grazing on a national scale? Is there now a need for technology to modernize animal production and ensure traceability of livestock in Nigeria? My guest tonight helps us understand the situation and the plans in place to modernize Nigeria's livestock sector. We'll also talk about the Obudu Cattle Ranch, the National Livestock Growth Acceleration Strategy, the fact that Nigeria still imports dairy, unsavory practices in abattoirs across the country, and criticisms that my guest is only focused on cows. Well, he says he is not. We are joined tonight by the Honorable Minister of Livestock Development in Nigeria, Idi Mukhtar Mai. Honorable Minister, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Kayla.
It's good to have you here. How has it been, Minister Emeritus? How has it been since you took the reins of power in this livestock ministry?
Well, it's been some wonderful experiences for me. I'm not new to livestock. The appointment came, and we thank God for me being found by Mr. President to fit that role. And here we are, trying to contribute our quota to national development and to change the narrative in the livestock sector.
That narrative is actually a very important problem that we're facing, especially when it comes to how it ripples and is misinterpreted in different crises across the country. But just so that people can understand why it was necessary for a Ministry of Livestock to be created.
Okay, if you look at it, historically, actually, livestock has been part of agriculture since independence. In spite of the fact that there has been overriding compelling needs to look at the two sectors separately, to organize them separately. This hasn't happened until exactly last year. Mr. President had that strategic vision to create a separate Ministry of Livestock, to have a dedicated focus on that sector. Now, what is the livestock sector in Nigeria? In West Africa, we have the largest population of livestock. In Africa, we are the top 10. The sector in Nigeria has remained ever since in traditional practices. But if you look at the baseline value of the livestock sector, it's about $32 billion. And you can imagine in a developing country like Nigeria, a sector that is that much worth is not part of the formal economy. There hasn't been a dedicated focus to try to manage the sector in such a way that its contribution to national GDP, employment, food availability, food security, national resilience, managing conflicts, promoting social harmony and cohesion. It hasn't happened until last year.
What you've mentioned some of the issues. Is it also possible that maybe modernized livestock development styles are not being adopted by the people who even own cows in Nigeria? Because one of the questions people have is, our cows trek for those are long distances, and our meat is muscle. It's like eating an Olympian. If you have a cow that is moving from Borno to Calabar, eating grass along the way, you're raising an Olympian. You won't be able to get the yield that you want. This open grazing issue, is it time to end it in your view so people can ranch and actually develop their cattle?
Yes. What is open grazing? Why open grazing? Why the marathon movement, seasonally determined movement? Why is it? Is it cultural? Is it a survival mechanism? Let us understand that. Let us understand that. The movement of livestock in, for instance, in this country, in the Sahel, in East Africa, if you talk about the Maasai, if you talk about the Turkana, if you could talk about so many of them there, it is a survival mechanism. Now that we're in the rains, all the livestock resources are up north because there's availability of what? Grass and water. Now, immediately after the rains, 2-3 months, all the farm residue would have been eaten up. Water sources would have dried up. So what does the cattleman do? He needs to feed his cattle. The only method he knows is open grazing. But today, 2025 years, in 2025, is that still sustainable? There are so many changes. Now, that survival mechanism is what we need to address. The open grazing is there, they have been used to it.
So you agree that it's not sustainable?
It's not sustainable.
Open grazing is not sustainable?
It's not sustainable. Okay. But you can't switch off the button.
Okay.
You cannot do it. You cannot stop open grazing in 1 year or 2 years. The whole idea is, look, let us wake up the consciousness of these people. That what you have been used to in this is 60 years ago, 40 years ago, 70 years ago is no longer obtainable. Now, how much value are they getting from that marathon movement? You have just put that we're eating marathoners.
We're eating Olympians.
We're eating Olympians. I agree. But what do we need to do? What we need to do today is to understand that this is a survival mechanism. Let me give you an example. Now, there is so much grass and fodder in the southern part of this country where these cattle go there to forage. Why can't we come with a business model that people can cut those grasses, bale them, and bring them up north to sell? It's a commodity. People can deliberately go into pasture cultivation, cut those grasses, and bring them up north for these people to buy. Just like you take rice and beans and other foodstuff from northern part of Nigeria to the market based in the southern part of this country. It's a symbiotic relationship. So this is the thinking that we need to change. And this is what we're trying to address. We have done a fodder balance analysis all over the country. We know where the pluses, we know where the minuses. And this is part of the data mining that we have done. And this is what we are now putting in to address that issue of migration. People know that today you are not dealing only with scarcity, acute scarcity of land resources, acute scarcity of water resources, acute scarcity of even the cattle roots have been gobbled up by development.
Let's talk a little bit about those roots, because that's in many parts of the country, and like we said in our intro, even though we know, at least the information is trickling down, we're beginning to understand that a lot of these farmer-herder clashes are actually politically motivated and not really based on the issues that they're telling us that they are based on. But there are instances where farmers and herders, we saw in Gwagwalada, the one in Gwagwalada was a farmer-herder issue where those 31 houses were burnt and reprisal killings and whatnot were happening here in the nation's capital. Luckily, the minister weighed in and sorted that out. But you see, it's given cattle rearers a bad reputation across this country. What are your thoughts on this situation where we hear about cattle rearers entering into people's farms, eating up their crops when their accosted killings start? And we're seeing this happen. How do you feel about that situation? And what do you think can be done about it?
It's a criminal act. It's a trespass. It is an encroachment. That's what the law says. It only happens that this man is a farmer, this man is a herder. But encroachment is an encroachment. Why the profiling? Why the stigmatization? There are fights all over places in the market. Mechanics can fight okra sellers. Other people, other vocational people are fighting. But this one has been spotlighted. And we're making a huge thing out of it. It's been there all along. Even as a kid, when I relieved my father's workers in the farm, in the cattle ranch, There were one or two cases of strain here and there. The whole idea today is that the traditional conflict resolution mechanism has collapsed. People are taking laws into their hands. And we are making huge capital out of that. But basically, de-emotionalize all these things. There are so many emotions about all these things. And today it has gotten to where it has gotten. So many of the incidents that are happening today, sometimes, in fact, the herder doesn't have even a single cow. And there's a clash. They say it's herder and a farmer. People don't go to investigate these things. So many instances that these things are just brushed, people just rush to the press, this is what is happening. Let's be patient and investigate these things. We all belong to this country. We all need peace. Everybody needs peace. The whole idea today is that what is happening, can we drill down to the bottom and find a solution? That is what this is all about. We don't have armed forces in the Ministry of Livestock. We have a convergence with the security agencies. Ours is to advance the non-kinetic measures in restoring peace and creating bridges between communities. Some of the cattle that people talk about, basically the man you see, the visible end, is just a worker. The owners of the cattle are somewhere else. They are being shielded. Nobody knows them. So when this has happened, the whole idea today, a whole group of people are stigmatized. How fair is that? Like I said, there are criminal elements all over the place. Let's deal with crime as a crime. Now, the ministry has come to stay. We have just recorded probably 1 year. We have done a lot of consultations, a lot of engagements. We are now doing a lot of buy-in processes with people. And I will say with some fair level of satisfaction that the commitment we are getting, is encouraging. Not only from people who want to invest in a modern way, but even from, the Métis Allahs, the Kautal Hore, the Kautal, all these pastoral associations. We've had a stakeholder engagement with almost 34 of those organizations nationwide. We have sold this idea to them. And they are agreeable. It's a gradual process. Now, if you have 1,000, 2,000 heads of cattle, how long will it take you to resettle them? You have to start growing pasture. You have to find the land. You have to start growing pasture. You also have to talk about security. So many things. So this is a gradual process. Okay. But as we are doing that, what we are saying is that we can do all those at the same time. We've talked about the National Livestock Growth Acceleration Strategy. Mm-hmm. Probably it's the time for you to drill down into that. Okay,
we'll go on a short break. When we come back, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. The strategy to ensure that we get the best out of this particular ministry. So please, stay with us on Hard Copy. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we are on Hard Copy tonight with the Minister of Livestock Development. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Kayla,
for making up the time to be with us. All right, so let's talk about this livestock plan that we've been waiting for. I know it's just been a year. It takes time. But maybe you can help us break down this new plan for livestock development in this country.
If you are a sailor and you don't know where you're going to, no wind can help you. You need to map out your direction. We came on board. We discovered there are a lot of legacy policies, a lot of legacy documents. From the past 15, 20 years, we scooped out all relevant documents that had to do with livestock. We looked at the ROGA policy that had a national outcry, a national backlash. We looked at the National Livestock Transformation Plan. We looked at also the copies of very, very rich Professor Jega report, who was a co-chair because Mr. President was the chair of that committee. And again, that committee, headed by Professor Jega, I don't think there was any issue around a national endeavor that assembled a lot of experts from the town and the gown, meeting and talking on that particular subject of livestock, like that committee. International repute, local actors, private practitioners, academicians, investors, everybody who had one thing or the other to do with livestock was assembled. And they produced that report. So we synthesized, analyzed all those reports and came out with a national livestock growth acceleration strategy. Now that encompassed everything from the honeybee to the camel. And our ministry is focusing on all farmable animals, from the bee to the rabbit, the grass cutter, the pig, the poultry, the sheep, the goat, the cattle, the donkey, the horse, and the camel, and everything around them.
And poultry?
I say poultry, yes.
Okay.
Now, we crafted that strategy to say that, look, this is the document that will now serve as a trajectory to transform this ministry. And out of that, we have about 10 pillars. Talking about breed improvement, talking about feed and fodder, talking about water and waste management, talking about development of livestock value chains across the whole gamut, talking about disease and health management. So many of those things are all encompassed there. So anyone you pick, you see that really is talking to that sector. And the aspiration here is to transform the sector into a modern, vibrant, resilient, sustainable, globally competitive sector for food availability, job creation, poverty reduction.
So you are not a ministry of cows alone?
No. Cow is just one species out of all that I have itemized.
There's something it was one of the questions we were given when people were told that you were going to be on this program today. And it has to do with importation of poultry. Frozen chicken, frozen turkey. In fact, someone sent us on a lighter note, said he has never seen any part of the turkey that is not the wing. It's always the wing that you see in all these frozen stores. And one thing that we've noticed with a lot of this frozen poultry is that you can smell the formaldehyde. You can smell it when you open it up in the freezer in the store. You can smell formaldehyde. Is the importation of poultry something that the ministry is looking into? And is it being regularized? Is it being monitored by the ministry so that we don't have people putting poultry in formaldehyde and selling to the Nigerian people?
Now, when you say importation, you give it the gap of a formal approved importation. Poultry is still banned.
Importation of poultry is banned in this country?
Yes, it's banned. So any part that you see here today is illegally brought into this country.
Is it possible that the ones I'm seeing that smell like formaldehyde are made by our local...
They are smuggled in.
It can't be made by our local people?
No, they're smuggled in. They're smuggled in. One would have no reason in this country because of the scarcity of, in fact, that poultry meat, to process the meat and then go to package it and the formaldehyde and start to preserve it. Yeah. So we do know that poultry meat is banned into this country. Those who find ways and means of bringing it, they are doing something illegal. They are doing a huge disservice to themselves and their motherland. So that is it.
Okay.
Now, we are talking about importation. I've mentioned about importation of dairy products. We are looking at that. It's not something that you can look, we are going to stop importation of of dairy products in the next 1 year. It's a gradual process.
Because we have more powdered milk.
We have more powdered milk.
That is imported into this country than anywhere else in Africa.
Yes, it is there. We are aware of that. And then we today, some 2-3 years ago, the federal government approved a national dairy policy for this country. And this ministry has the onerous task of working out the implementation framework. And we've been on that. And very soon, we will reel out the implementation framework that will now give you a timeline. What is happening locally in terms of the development of the local dairy capacity to give us sufficient milk on a graduated basis. And that is what is happening. Commercialized, most developed aspect of the livestock sector. But we are not resting our oars. The challenge we are facing in poultry today are basically two. Feed poultry because, of course, there's a conversion because of cost of grains. We have seen what has happened in the Algonia in the last 1 year. We are taking our lessons, and we do believe that by next year, we'll be in proper position to monitor grain prices and then also see the local production and also to try to see how we can entice those farmers to sell their grains locally rather than exporting. Because that will have now a ripple effect on reviving, reinvigorating the poultry sector. That is one. Secondly, we are also looking at the incidences of poultry diseases, Newcastle, influenza, blah, blah. We are looking at those. We are working with private sector, the research institutes in this country, and we are also borrowing leaves from other countries that have successfully been able to tackle some of these zoonoses at the poultry level.
Are we looking at our local poultry farmers and ensuring that they are not doing these dangerous preservation practices?
We are looking at that. We are having conversations with the Poultry Association of Nigeria. We know all the big players, and we know that they are guided by ethics. Now, the issue here is about cold chain storage and transportation.
Yes.
That is where the challenge is. And we are going to take that along with the red meat industry, which again also is another area that is huge, which is on economic value, that we're also focusing, just like we're looking at dairy, because there are huge potentials at the Nigerian red meat industry. You know.
What role do genetically modified organisms play in the work that the livestock ministry is doing right now to revive and modernize our livestock sector? Is GMOs, are they approved in this sector?
GMO in livestock is zero.
In Nigeria, right?
In livestock is zero.
What about feed?
Well, the feed, you're talking about grains. How much of GMO grains do we have in the country? I don't have the statistics. And I don't think anybody can tell you. No, there are certain things about emotions and then laced with ignorance.
Well, it's because the information is not out there.
It's not the information.
If the information is not out there, people will assume.
I understand people will assume. But I think people who talk in court authoritatively about GMO, basically what is GMO?
It's genetically modified organism.
What does it actually mean scientifically? What do they do?
Well, it was created to be able to resist things like illnesses, give them longer shelf life, make sure that they're able to be disease resistant in many cases. So that's a laudable thing. But
is it positive or negative? If, for instance, today,
that is positive.
Somebody, for instance, in the research institute, for instance, comes up with a maize variety that is drought resistant, that uses less water, that is disease resistant. For instance, fall armyworms, that is early yielding variety. Are these not positives?
They are.
They are positives.
Yes.
Now, if you don't want all these positives, do you not go back to the 1950 and take a maize variety that probably uses 130% water?
The information that most people have is that even though these are the positive reasons why genetically modified organisms were created, that many of them have side effects. There are people who are linking the consuming of GMOs to cancer and other kinds of illnesses. Are they wrong to make that assumption?
In this country?
In this country, yes.
How many cancer patients have been traced to eating of GMOs scientifically? It's not a question of just assumptions. These are social media hypes. Somebody comes out with a variety of a grain that is early yielding, drought resistant, disease resistant, and it gives you so much ton per hectare. And with all these positives, people now begin to take a spatula, go to under the microscope, and begin to look for a negative out of it. There are scientists all over the place. How many universities? Close to 200 universities in this country. Nobody will go and knock on a door and say, please, what is the true position of these particular grain people are talking about? No, we hear that, okay, there is cancer in the UK, there is cancer in India, there is cancer in the US, or it's been traced to GMO. How? Let me give you an example. I just gave you an example of cow yielding milk. Somebody say this is genetically modified? Even here today in this country, somebody has done a research on pigs. And you are getting faster rate of growth, higher farrowing. That is, the mama pig will give you, instead of giving 3 little piglets, that one will give you 13, 14, 15. Okay? It gives you higher rate of growth, higher feed conversion ratio, higher body weight as slaughter. And this is a result of research. And he has done certain things to find out that this variety can give you all these positives. And somebody will say no. The Brahma cattle, the Brahma breed, beef breed today, they weigh 1,500 kilograms of mass weight. If you bring this breed here to the I had one on my farm.
So you're pro-GMOs, Honorable Minister?
My cattle are not GMO. It's a question of modern animal husbandry. What do you do to get the best out of that animal?
What should the Nigerian expect from your ministry as we wrap up this conversation?
As we wrap up, Kela, I think we are coming up with a big initiative. It's coming out, it's a big bang. Under the Renewal Hope agenda, we are coming up with a women and youth initiative in livestock. We are going to pick 1,000 young boys and girls from each state, including FCT. We are going to give them the capacity. We are going to ask them to choose what value chain do they want to participate in the livestock. Further cultivation, feed compounding, animal health, honeybee apiary, rabbitry, goat fattening, sheep fattening, dairy, beef, whatever you want to choose. We are doing this in a very, very strategic manner. Once we organize those cooperatives, we are going to appoint off-takers for all of this range of products. This is what's going to happen. And we believe that is the best way that Nigerians can benefit from this ministry as a lower-hanging fruit. It requires little capital outlay. 2-3 hives, the Kenyan top bar or the Langthorpe that can give you maybe 9 liters or 12 liters. The honeybee, you bait it, the bee will come and colonize. You don't feed the bee, you don't inoculate it, you don't guard it. In fact, it will guard your property for you. At the end of
and pollinate your plants.
And pollinate your plants. In fact, where bees are, the abortion rate for plants is reduced by 46%.
Very true.
I have done that on my orchard, I've seen it. So these are some of the things we are coming out with. And I believe by the time we come back with this, once we come back here, you will tell us which of the value chains you have chosen to participate in. But we believe this is one way to go. We want to involve massively young boys and young girls into this program.
All right. Honorable Minister, we're totally out of time, but I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your insights today and helping us understand a lot that you do, and good luck with all the work you have ahead of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Hard Copy this week. I'm Kayla Magwa. Good night.